for joining us tonight. I know everyone is really busy, but I think this is a really great topic, and I'm excited to see everyone here. We're about halfway through the semester with our Tuesday Talk series or evening virtual programming. This programming for adult learners, that's really an umbrella term that works for a lot of different populations that you see on the screen here. So we're talking to Warrior Back students, returning warriors, Phoenix reentry students, transfer students, justice impacted students, military affiliated students, and also first generation students. So a lot of different identities intersecting here, and we're here to support them all through this series. So quick agenda, we're going to do some brief introductions, and I'll hand it over to James to do the presentation that we're all here for. Then we'll do a brief wrap up with some next steps as well. So my name is Amber Neer, that's Near as in far. I am now the coordinator for the adult learner programs in the University Advising Center. So I work primarily at the Warrior Way Back program, as well as just generally adult learners on campus, supporting them back onto campus and throughout their time to graduation and beyond, really. Chloe Lending can't be here today, but she's our adult learner liaison, so usually the first point of contact for our adult learners. Does a lot of our social programming as well. You'll see her through our adult learner lounge, our adult learner student group, a lot of really exciting things on campus, and we have Chloe to thank for that. We also are hiring right now, going through the process for another adult learner advisor, so stay tuned there. And then James Hearn, our adult learner career coach, and I do have a nicer slide for you, James. Maybe if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Okay. Like I said, as Amber introduced me, I'm James Hearn, and a proud adult learner career coach. So for our presentation today, and welcome Mark again, and the viewers who will have opportunity to watch. My goal always is to present the information in a way that it can be well received, because when you're dealing with adult learners, you're dealing with a wide range of ages from 25 and older and different life experiences. So as a career coach, my job is to help where you at in your career path and to ensure that the resources that we have at Career Services is at your benefit and to help you. So if I can, Amber, I just want to share my screen and share my particular screen so you can see. And just let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Very good. Okay. So for this particular one, I did one earlier last month about job interviewing, techniques that work for adult learners. This one, I'm going to focus on a little different path with mistakes that adult learners commonly make doing it. We're going to talk about that. And when I'm talking, I'm going to really talk to you directly. It's not personal. It's just the facts. And I got the mistakes. But sometimes, based on my research reading, there's common mistakes that sometimes as an adult learner and an experienced person, you may come across or may not be really thinking currently, because the career world constantly changes, constantly evolving. And in front of you is people. And sometimes people bring their biases, they bring their perceptions or, to the table. So as an adult learner, when you are interviewing, your number one goal is to get to the next step and to get the offer. And I'm going to start my slide from the beginning. I want to go to the next slide. Now, when you think about adult learners, there are concerns and benefits being an adult learner. And I want to make certain that I talk about the concerns, but also the benefits of being an adult learner. So first of all, as we already understand, that the job interview, number one, is an important gateway. There's no question about it, for a new career and opportunities. I want to make certain, but passing through this process, it can be stressful. And we realize that, especially being an adult learner, where you at in your life, specifically, you're not necessarily going to be the first year, second year, third year college student, but you're an adult with family responsibilities, and you know exactly what you're looking for. So So the question is, how can the job interview provide me an opportunity as a gateway to get not only that new career I'm looking for, but maybe opportunities within that career that I'm already seeking. And we know it's stressful. So this point here is, from here, how do I make a good first impression to get the offer? Let's face it, getting the job interview, like I said, it is stressful, but you have to make a good impression. If you make a good impression, then you can get the call back. A question for adult learners: am I too old? The responses in the current data supports it, and the great exodus of people leaving the job industry due to the pandemic. Older workers are getting jobs. The opportunities are out there. Here's the benefit of being an adult learner in the workforce. Employers like adult learners because what? They're loyal. They even kill, they're reliable, and they bring the intangibles to the workplace and experiences. So as an adult learner, when you're interviewing, especially that hiring manager, they're looking for those opportunities. They're looking for individuals because they know pretty much an adult learner is going to bring that balance, and they're going to know exactly what they're looking for. So that is to your advantage. I want to really focus on these two right here. Understand, as sometimes a common mistake with adult learners, understand the difference between a skill and a competency. Now, remember, like you see, look on this left-hand side, a skill, playing the piano, computer programming. There's skills and activities that you're trained to perform. But let's look at a competency. Now, that's skills, knowledges, and behaviors working together. So you have to understand specifically abilities, behaviors all together. So leading the team, managing conflict, those are the differences. Employers are looking for a skill set, but they're also looking for competencies. And as an adult learner, you have to make certain that you understand those competencies. There's 8 just for you to understand. And every employer are looking at basically these 8 areas. Your resume, everything that you're doing will fall into these particular 8 areas. Communication, leadership, critical thinking, professionalism, teamwork, technology, career and self-development, and equity and inclusion. Those 8 core areas, every employer who's hiring college graduates, your skill set and your competencies, you have to demonstrate that ability to work with technology. As far as career self-development, are you doing things to promote yourself? Are you improving yourself? Equity and inclusion, are you understanding the diversity of the work environment? Can you work with diverse populations? Of course, professionalism, critical thinking, leadership speaks for itself. Now, before you interview, you got to know the type of interviews. And because of this virtual world and this COVID, you may have a phone interview. You may have that one-on-one interview, that in person. There, because of the COVID situation, a lot of times before that was always the only game in town, one-on-one interviews, but more than likely, some of those things are slowly coming back. You have the video interview, the panel and the group interview. So Zoom and Teams and those type of networking platforms, you have to be well-versed as an adult learner how to navigate Zoom, how to navigate Teams. And if an employer asks you, you have to be able to say, yes, I can navigate both. And you're going to have to feel comfortable talking to a panel, talking to a group. That is the interview process now. Now, common mistakes made during interviewing. Generally, for most people, lack of professionalism, lack of preparation, lack of content, and negativity are always, I don't care what age range you are, those are common mistakes, and those are just typically no-nos for anyone. It doesn't make a difference, you're an adult learner. If you're interviewing, if you're not professional, if you're not prepared, you don't have the content to understand what you're interviewing for, and you're negative, I don't care who you are, you're not going to get past the interviewing team. So, but I think adult learners understand that, And these mistakes now are common to the adult learners, and this is to the adult learners. So as an adult learner, like I said, 25 and over, like I said, adult learners, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and up. This is the thing about it. If you are an older adult learner going back into the workforce or in it and you're looking for some new opportunities, I got mistake one and mistake two. Mistake number one, you LinkedInless. Let me say that again. You're LinkedInless. Number one, most recruiters, 94% of recruiters are using LinkedIn. Here, 77% of employers use social media networks to recruit. So the bottom line, like it or not, you have to get in LinkedIn. If 94% of recruiters are doing that, you have to ensure that that's where you have to be. Also, if you're dealing with LinkedIn and those social media platforms for networking, you have to pick a good photo. And not one that's blurry, and you have to get one that's recent. Sometimes we put photos on maybe 10 or 15 years ago. You're going to have current and recent photos because number one, you're trying to get the interview. That's the bottom line. You're in LinkedIn and social media platform, write a professional headline and tailor it to the jobs that you're looking for. Another thing, search for people that you know work for that organization or company that you might want to work for, and then send them an invitation. That's the advantage of LinkedIn. Is you can send invitations, ask individuals, try to build relationships, find out what's going on. Take advantage of the social networking opportunities. It can work for you. Mistake number two, your resume is bad. There's no updates. Most recruiters, they scan resumes 20 to 30 seconds. So you got to remember, if you are a recruiter or a hiring manager and you have hundreds of resumes, you're looking quickly 20, 30 seconds. It has to catch your eye. Resume, of course, and I think a lot of us know that, but just to make certain, it should be no more than 2 pages. When you actually have the interview, then you can have a conversation and you can go into detail about your experiences. But you're trying to get the actual interview itself. Your resume must tell a story. As an adult learner, you have a story. Your resume should reflect that story. And I can't overemphasize this. Proofread your resume. I know you'll be put it through grammar check and all these other things, but sometimes it makes mistakes and it misses things. So make certain that you proofread your resume. Mistake 3 and mistake 4. Mistake 3, you look too cool to look needy. Sometimes, you know, as an adult learner and experienced person, you want to look real, you want to show that poise and grace, and you don't want to show that you need the opportunity. You can look confident, but at the same time, you want to look enthusiastic and you want to be a part of the team. This is the facts. Most people hire people they know. That goes for hiring managers and companies. If they know you or know about you or know someone who knows of you, that's more than likely they hire their people. As an adult learner, ask for help and network. If you're not familiar, you're not comfortable, you are something new regarding LinkedIn, I'm not really comfortable with a lot of things, ask for help. Build your network. This is a social media generation. If 94% of recruiters are going to LinkedIn, you better make certain you LinkedIn have your page up, and it has to have the most pertinent and relevant information. Establish a personal network to the companies that you're interested in. You see them on LinkedIn, reach out to them. Hey, I'm John, I'm Mark, I'm interested. Can you tell me a little bit about the company? You'd be surprised, individuals will reach back to you and say hello and answer a few of your questions. As an adult learner, dig back into your relationships. High school people, college, whatever. Even parents of your children, friends, and etc. the bottom line here, this common mistake is use your network. You already have networks because of your experiences and different things. So don't be afraid to contact individuals and ask questions, because it may take one contact that can get your foot into a door. And that particular person can you can leverage that person. They may give you that opportunity to get interviewed. Mistake 4, I said, you're lazy. And I mean that not in a sense, but sitting back, not really having that hustle and drive. You have to get out and really push yourself and not have that laid back approach. So you have to be aggressive. One thing about our younger students, they're aggressive. They're going to go out and get it. And sometimes as an adult learner, you lay back and, want to pace yourself, but you're going to have that enthusiasm. You're going to have an aggressive attitude. Say, I'm going to get it. Join an association. Whatever your particular industry or interest, seek it out. Seek out volunteer opportunity. If anything, maybe there's some industries that you can volunteer. Use that time. That's how you network. Go to industries, professional meetings, go to conferences. Yeah, go to conferences. You may see meetings. You enter in the field. I'm going to the conference. I'm just going to go see what's being asked. Meet individuals. That shows to me that you're trying to learn the industry. Of course, I'm a heavy advocate for this one, and that's why we're here today. Use your college and university career centers and call and reach out to alumni. Your career resource centers, like we have Wayne State, we have a full resources for any type of development regarding resume, interviewing, networking opportunities. That's what we're here for. We have these resources for our students, alumni, adult learners that make a difference. You're connected to Wayne State, you have the full resources. Don't not include community colleges. Community colleges have career services. They have resources. They have opportunities. Don't limit yourself. Utilize your community colleges. Mistake number 5 and 6. 5. Sometimes adult learners, you think you're special. You know what you have to offer. You know about your years of experience. In your mind, you have an idea of what you should have as far as being paid. But sometimes you may have opportunities that the pay may not be high enough for all your experiences. Don't let that stop you. It may not be the salary range right now that you want, but don't let that exclude you for getting opportunities to get in. There are ways you got to think about as an adult learner that you can ultimately negotiate other than salary, but maybe more flex time, maybe vacation days, maybe other type of perks that you can kind of say, okay, the salary is a little lower than I want, but there's maybe other things that you can negotiate with an employer. Those are the things. So you just want to make certain that you don't just immediately rule out opportunities. And sometimes as an adult learner, don't take job descriptions so literally. All jobs are kind of fluid. You have probably some descriptions, but some of it's fluid. And you don't want to just read it and say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that because that particular description is something I'm not interested in. It might be something that you might do it every now and then, or you may never be required to do it. Don't let those descriptions exclude you. And this is something I'm big on. And once you are in the door, make that job your own. Grow into the position. The plan is to get the job, get in the position. You can always fit it and mold it to your talent and take that job further. And then who knows who may see what you can do in those opportunities. So be willing to see future possibilities. I think any job is an opportunity. And as an adult learner, you want to go into these spaces and be willing to see different opportunities, not limit yourself and say, okay, if I can get in, may not be the salary that I'm looking for, maybe a lot less than I think I should get, but I'm in, then you could provide or become a true asset to the organization. You never know what other opportunities can bring. Mistake 6, don't bring your A game to the interview. You have one time to get it right. One time. And you have to make certain that you go in with your top of your game. Not woulda, coulda, shoulda, or, I fumble and stumble. As an adult learner and your experience, you got to go in there and say, I have to go in because I got one shot. Sometimes as an adult learner, you think that, and a lot of times, and this may be true, you probably think you're more qualified than the person who's interviewing. That person may be a lot younger, a lot more inexperienced, and they have this experience and they're interviewing you. So you have to think that you may have a demeanor across or a smirk or whatever it is, or you're going to try to restrain yourself saying, hey, this person may be 20 years my junior interviewing me. You have to make certain that bringing your A game, that person is interviewing. You have to treat them with the same type of respect, and if they was your same age range, make certain, because this person or team is the people I have to get through. If they see that you are an asset to the team and you can bring your wisdom, bring your experiences to complement them, that's what you want to bring. Another mistake is not taking the interview seriously. Maybe individuals may ask you, okay, we talking lightly, be yourself, talk freely. Well, you still interview. They may could laugh and giggle, and it's okay for you to, show a little humor, but you understand in the back of your mind, I'm still taking this interview very seriously and making sure that they see that you're very serious about the interview. Practice with a friend, mock interviews. Here we have opportunities for our students to have mock interviews. We have companies that come out and they ask you to interview. You may want to participate in one of those interviews. They'll tell you, ask you some standard interview questions, give you an opportunity for some feedback. And, if you're not comfortable in that, interview with some friends, have some set questions. We have some wonderful software here that give you particular industry related questions. And you can take those particular questions and really practice. You have to practice your responses, not rehearse them, but practice some key words so you can kind of talk and have your talking points. Videotape the interviews so you can tweak your responses. It's different when you see yourself on camera in front and you can catch your tendencies. Maybe you talk with your hands a lot. Maybe you're fidgeting. Maybe your mouth droops, whatever. I don't know. You want to kind of look and say, okay, let me kind of conscientiously think about things. Ask whoever's videotaping you, look at it. What you think? How would you rate me? And also another one, mistake, make sure focus on the company's needs, not yours. Make certain that you are talking about all the time what the company needs. Not what, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Your job is this is what the company needs. If you want to ensure you constantly going back to the organization of the company, this is how I can help. This is what I bring to the table. When you inside and you have the position, then you can talk about your needs at that time. Your job is to get in. Mistake 7 and 8. Very real. Be very, very realistic. You look like hell. You got to make sure you're physically fit. And I'm not talking about running the marathon and can lift 500 pounds. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, here's the bottom line. And as adult learners, we have to be very realistic. People will judge you how you look regardless. They can tell you all day, but they will judge how you look. So you want to look your best. You want to feel good interviewing. If you are in person, or even you're on the screen, you want to let a person know that you have vitality, you're good. Of course, you know about grooming and all that. I'm not going to insult you with that, but you have to make certain that if you feel real good about yourself, you look good. That sends a message that you up for the job. I don't think if you're a hiring manager and you got somebody with an oxygen mask over their face and looking a certain way, you might not get the call back. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, just understand. And if that is the case, make sure you take your breathing treatments and make sure you look real good and sharp for the interview. Eat a healthier diet to get the energy. If you know you're about to start an interview process and you're going through that, really start thinking about your energy. Think about the foods that you intake and make sure you're not sluggish and weighed down, but you're sharp and you're smart. Because you want someone to say, you know what, that person is really sharp. They really look energetic, they're enthusiastic, they have the energy, they got the stamina, because you don't want them to question anything. And then here's the thing, this is the bottom line. You're selling the entire package of you. I see your resume, I'm talking to you, but you selling you. They're looking at you. People can say all day, well, no, I'm looking at their skills and everything. No, they're looking at you too. Trust me, they're looking at you too. And as adult learners, I know that you want honest feedback, and recruiters will tell you that in a minute. They may not tell you personally, but we know that. That's just the world we live in. Mistake 8, you just don't fit in. And let me explain that one. Understand there are certain companies with certain cultures. One of the advantages of being an adult learner, you can understand the different environments and the different cultures. You have to understand, do you fit that company's culture? You may go into a company and say they may be a startup company and it may be a lot of millennials. Average age is 25. Do I fit in that company? That may be something that you may decide, that may not necessarily be for me. So be choosy where you apply. That means you have to do research and homework. Find out about the company and understand if you are or not a company's type. There may be certain buzzwords that the companies throw out. And you may look at it and say, I don't know if I'm that particular type. Companies, organizations, they have what they're looking for. They have some image they're selling. And they may look for a certain type that add to the company. So if you're doing your research, this is where this comes in. Do a web search about the company. Review the write-ups by current and former employees. Current and former employees will tell you the truth, what's going on. They can tell you on the inside, this is what's going on. You may not want to apply, or this is a great company. So when you're doing your research, you understand about the companies you interview. So you're not taking anything. Be choosy. Understand your dynamics. If I'm 25 and I'm going in a company that's looking for millennials, startup, whatever the company, this is exactly what they're looking for. I see the buzzwords, and I may be at 50 or whatever age I'm at, and I may not be the fit for me. Let me look other places. And mistake number 9 and 10. Mistake 9, you're waiting for the phone to ring. If you're unemployed, you have to do something. If you're in between jobs, do something. The phone is not going to ring and say, hello, job. You're going to have to go out and do some things, put the interview in, put the time in, then the email, and then the phone will ring. Try volunteering for a nonprofit. Do something that utilize your skills. The important thing is, if I'm in the interim trying to find something that you can utilize your skill set. And then volunteering, one of the things about the benefits of volunteering, it can let you network and also potentially get your foot in the door with an employer. You'd be surprised if you're volunteering in certain industries, and individuals may say to you, we got some opportunities, maybe something for you to look for. And mistake 10, you have flatlined intellectually. And let me explain that. Meaning you constantly have to take new classes. You have to let hiring managers and people that are part of a team, that you go to workshops, you're working towards the certifications. You are constantly evolving, and you're not stuck in your own ways. So if I am a person that's interviewing and I'm over 50, interviewing, or mid-40s, whatever, your age range, you say, hey, listen, I'm constantly evolving. I'm taking certifications, I'm taking trainings, I'm going to workshop. Your resume will reflect that. Plus, your interview will reflect that, because it may be a question. Add prerequisites and requirements by taking classes. So if you're looking at certain jobs and you don't meet the requirements, take some specifications, take those requirements, take it. Take this additional Microsoft certs, whatever it is. And I just put this down. This is, I guess we're familiar with the Association of, the Association of Retired People, AARP. With that being said, they have great information if for employers that like people over 50. So if you're an adult learner, you're over 50, that's a valuable resource that you can utilize to ensure that these guys are already doing the research. So like I said, no matter where you at, you have to know where you at and what can work and benefit you in your situation. Now, I already told you about the common mistakes. And I told you the mistakes associated specifically with adult learners, but I just want to kind of roll into best interviewing practices. Being authentic, sell yourself, be concise, and show enthusiasm. Those are the 4 areas that you really, really want to ensure. If you are authentic, you're selling you. Sell yourself because you have one shot. And you at least want them to start talking about you, start thinking about you. Be concise, understand specifically, answering the questions, being specifically laser-like focus, making sure that in the job descriptions, your resume and during the interview, you can attest to those things and show your enthusiasm. Let that person know that you'll be a wonderful asset to the team because enthusiasm is contagious. And people love being around individuals that can show enthusiasm, that can show they're part of a team. Because sometimes that energy is low. You could be the type of person that bring energy up in the room. Like I said, be authentic, be strategic on what you emphasize and how you present things. I think this is something, but I put it in bold. Don't lie. Don't lie, because it'll come back to haunt you. If you put anything on your application, or anything during the interview, don't lie. Just better to tell the truth. And the interviewer, they would like to connect with you. They see you real and you're an authentic human being. Because sometimes they can actually put themselves in your position. They may have family members. They may be you. You just don't know. They're people, bottom line. And I always say this, and I'm going to say this again. Advice for adult learners. In a lot of my presentations, I always make sure I include this because I think sometimes as an adult learner, we need to understand that your life experiences are strengths. Any and all positive and negative experiences. Your experience indicates wisdom, self-awareness, and a sense of dedication to you becoming a contributing member of a team. You have to understand that. That's what you bring to it. As I said earlier in the earlier slide, when I first began the presentation, employers know when they get an adult learner, especially an adult learner with experiences, they know what they want and they bring a sense of value and a lot of intangibles. Also, I just want to really emphasize this. Do not allow fear, perceived barriers, or obstacles stop you from pursuing your dream and your aspirations. So if I'm too old or, they may not like me or you can't allow that. You have to have the ability to conquer the fear, proper preparation, some of the things that I just went over, and understand realistically. And that goes to my next one, being realistic and idealistic. And I'm going to say that again, be realistic and not idealistic. There's certain situations, certain dynamics, wherever you at, that's real. How you look, how you present yourself, all those are factors. Sometimes age can be a factor. It all depends. But as I said before, there's a lot of resignations going on. A lot of companies are looking for older workers. They look for seasoned workers because they need the work done. So this is really a great time to be an adult learner with experience getting into the workforce. Maybe certain past experiences may not allow you to pursue your career pathways. And what I mean by that is sometimes, by adult learner, there may be some certain experiences and not really going down, into it, but maybe there's certain things that you can't pursue. But you're saying, okay, I may not can pursue that, but I can pursue this. And if that's the case, understand your awareness. Focus your time and energy on realistic career pathways to achieve opportunities. as an adult learner, your ultimate goal is to improve you and your family economic situation. That's your bottom line. And take your time and your energy and make sure that if certain limitations stop you, understand that I'm going to go into a pathway that's realistic and I'm going to spend my time and energy. And if you have, maybe you're already in the field, you want to go a little bit further, understand realistically where you at, what you can't, what's possible, and maximize that possibility. And with that, I know I've been running my mouth. And I just wanted to make sure I do the presentation just to make sure I get it out. But this is your time. Please feel free to ask any questions. I got my contact information here. If you can't think of a question right now, always feel free to contact me. But if you'd like to ask me a few questions, I'd love to take it.
Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate how you highlighted some of those common mistakes, not just in interviewing, but the career search or job search. But then, it's been kind of pivoted to what you should be doing. So it's just a different way to think about it.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, Mark, a lot of, times change and the best practices change a lot too.
I have a question. Have you run into age discrimination, and what do you do? Just ignore it and move on, or what do you do? What's your experience of age discrimination?
I tell you what, Mark, and I've faced that or just discrimination, period. Some battles you take, some battles you don't. I think if you focus on, is that the hill you want to die on? That's the question you have to ask yourself that. And I feel like this, if you're enthusiastic and energetic, there's opportunities out there waiting on you. You have to find it. Now, if you inside a situation, you inside an organization, and you inside and you vested, and there's opportunity you've been denied, and of course, you have to use any legal remedy that you find necessary. Absolutely. But if you are interviewing, trying to get to the front door, your job is, oh, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. One person may say no, 10 people may say yes. You focus on, Mark, finding the yes.
Okay.
That's why I said spend your time and energy, because you can sit back and say, well, this and this, and I don't have time for that. Okay, they said, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to the next one. Scratch your line out, go to the next. The most persistent people are the ones that find success because they're persistent. They're not taking no, and they're going to move on.
I also think that was great information. I was enthusiastic when I started. Now you've knocked me down. Very good. So I'm at the bottom. I can start working my way up now. Humble me, I've heard some of those things that you said, and that's good presentation. It's just I've had, for one example, I've had over the years, I've had an interview where I've done it one way with an interviewer, and then a few years later, the interview strategies have changed, and now they're doing the exact opposite of what I was keying into before. So you've probably seen that also before. Absolutely,
and that's what I would say before. Being realistic and understand that things are going to change, and you have to be adaptive. You have to adapt. You got to remember too, Mark, that hiring managers or anybody that's interviewing the team are gatekeepers. That's their job. They're the gatekeepers. They're just the first line. When a company bring you in, they're going to love you and wow you. Like for case in point, I interviewed for this particular position, Amber sat on the team. And that was, and I still remember the interview. And I got my call back, and I had other interviews, and I was so very fortunate that I got this particular opportunity, and I was excited about it. But I wanted my team and for Amber and the team to see my enthusiasm, because I wanted to be a part of this team.
Also made a great point about the culture of the company, and make sure that it's aligned with you, because you can do all you want in an interview, but if you're not coming through authentic because that culture doesn't match you, the interviewer's not going to pick
I
up
mean,
on it.
well, Mark, if you at Google,
I've made that mistake. That's how I know.
yeah, and
I
you
was desperate for a
Google,
job, and I just it wasn't a high professional job, but
yeah.
I want a job. I need a job.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you
What
want a
comes
job,
up?
so I'm saying you have to
And
be choosy. And let's say you are in Google in Simi Valley or whatever, as a bunch of teenagers riding around. Oh, well, you know, that may not be there in that particular role.
If that's the one thing I've learned from my experience, it's, you're looking for the job, what do you want, what do you need, and don't be just jumping into stuff. Make
Absolutely.
sure you do the prep, stuff like that. All you said,
Mhm. I'm glad that you find out, because that way you're being choosy, and you're choosing, and you're being selective, and you're finding, and then you're talking to people that's in the company. You realize, okay, there's some fair representation. Okay, they're open-minded. This is what I'm looking for. Then you get in. That's where you spend your time finding those opportunities, not just taking a job, just to take anything. And then I think when you have those situations, then you get this rejection or not those phone calls, then you start doubting yourself.
that's correct.
Yeah, you start, and you don't want that. And like I said before, number one, I believe definitely you could do it. There's no question about, you have the skills, you have the ability, you have to find the opportunity. And that means you may have to throw 1,000 out there. You may have to throw it out there. Somebody gonna say, you know what? Come on. And when you get that interview, I'm always the type of individual, if you get the interview, that's your opportunity. And if you don't, you want that panel to say, you know what? That was a great candidate. We may want somebody else, but that person's a wonderful candidate. And if I can't use that person, maybe somebody else. That's to me is what you want.
I even been through the stage where they were using computers to filter resumes. There's a stack. And the lesson I learned from that is don't let it get you. I mean, you're gonna get your resume right, and then it's either gonna get through that process or it's not. But that you don't have control of that, so don't worry about it. Just get that resume right, because that's another point that you made great. That's another weakness of mine. I have to work on my resume. I was gonna ask you also, like, if somebody is looking for you, because I've already gotten a couple of people who like my resume, and I haven't gone and talked to them, been busy, but it probably just be good just to go and talk to them, just for practice, if nothing less. But I want to be careful about it too, because we love you, we want you, and then I said, oh, that really, like you said, is that the job I really want? But it's probably good to just go and talk to people and get the contact in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But be careful. You interview, and they're gonna offer you the job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had one person still looking for me, and another couple of people write me, on the career website we have here at Wayne State, and saying we like you, we want to talk to you. A lot of it's sales. I'm not sure I want to do sales. I can be very good at sales, but you have to really know, what you're looking for, and what they need. The best point you made, I think, is the culture of the company. That's like really critical.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm glad that I'm really helpful. You made my day.
Big time.
I say you made my day. I'm just glad that information was helpful.
So it was helpful.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sometimes it's also helpful to hear it from someone else, especially a professional. That's where I got an ego like anyone else. Maybe it's a little smaller, I don't know, but to hear it from, first of all, one of the things I learned, and Chloe could tell you this because I just met with her. She wrote a little line that says, "Start here." So I said, "Oh, that's good." So I'm asking. I'm not real great at the process, so I'm looking for help. And then to hear the stuff from the professional, and you hear it from someone, just like you said. Sometimes you have to hear it from certain people. Then it works better. Can't always do it by yourself, especially with everything changing.
You can't. No, you can't. And you have wonderful programs like this, and Amber and me.
Oh, this adult
this is for you. This is what it's for. It's for the adult. That's what we work hard for.
I needed it when I first came into school.
Right.
In fact, when this came together, I was like, wow, okay, this is great stuff. They're looking out for me now. They really are. In some ways, a couple of years back, they'll soon kind of get lost in the sauce, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But this is big uplift when I heard about the program, you know.
Yeah.
Really,
I'm so
really
happy to
good.
hear that, Mark.
Well, I'll deny it in public, but you know, it's only the three of us.
Okay.
Oh, you have a recording.
I do.
I'm sorry.
Let's
Don't
see
worry about it.
here.
It's just that true. It's a big deal.
So I'm going to go ahead and like wrap up the presentation, and then I will stop the recording. So if we want to talk more after that, we can. So this is obviously our most recent Tuesday talk. This was the top 10 job interview mistakes for adult learners. This is going to be on our YouTube page as well for later viewing. Next week, we're welcoming OMSI, so the Multicultural Student Engagement on campus, to talk more about what they're offering, how we can get involved there. We haven't had that presentation before, so I'm pretty excited about it. Something new and really important and critical to our admission here for adult learners. So I definitely encourage everyone to check that one out. We have some really great sessions coming up in November and December too, which you can see on the screen. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. That being said, if you have any like suggestions for things you'd like to see more sessions about, please reach out and let us know. We're always welcome. We always welcome those ideas. I also want to plug our Adult Learner Resource Fair. Mark, please come to our Adult Learner Resource Fair. So this is on November 2nd from 4 to 7 p.m. And this is an in-person event. So this is in our Adult Learner Student Success place, our Adult Learner Lounge, and our Student Success Suite in the UGL. So this is a really great opportunity to connect with one-on-one with some of our resources, an adult learner specific environment. And it's a much smaller environment and more one-on-one. We're going to have some individual consultations with financial aid, student accounts receivable with us. Anything you're looking for, we're going to have that in one central location, also to connect with other adult learners too. So please RSVP for that, spread the word. We want to see as many folks as possible take advantage of this.
That is a Wednesday night.
Yes, that's a Wednesday. And then I also want to have some contacts for some other key groups on campus. So I'm the contact for adult learners, but if you identify with the transfer student population and want some more support there, I can refer you over to Doug Peacock. He works on an adult learner team as well. Jaime Lopez works with our military affiliated students over in AMVE. If you need any support with navigating veterans benefits, things like that. And then Terrell Tops works with our justice impacted students. And we're really developing a community around that population as well. So some great opportunities to connect here. And that's all I have. So I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. Let's see here. Oh my goodness.